drag and sideshow group. Here at this particular convention, we have run a couple 18+ panels, as well as the burlesque show. But this panel is in a different vein, but still kind of similar. Basically, the gist of it is cosplay is not just that. Doesn't matter what you're wearing, you can be fully clothed. Nobody has the right to touch you. Nobody has the right to follow you. And this is basically just giving a couple pointers that we've learned throughout our time on how to keep yourself safe, how to keep your friends safe, and basically, you know, just keeping your eyes peeled, make sure, you know, see something, say something kind of situation. And I am also going to start off by saying, nothing is ever going to be your fault. If anything happens, you did not deserve it. You will never deserve it. And I can say this as someone who has had incidents happen to themselves and has witnessed incidents happen in front of me. That's a situation of we kind of got to stick together and just sort of, if you see somebody's kind of in a very uncomfortable situation, like if you can understand the body language of like leaning away and whatnot, go up and they're your new best friend. Like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? It does work. It's actually worked for me on the streets of Philadelphia before, so.
You're like, oh hey, we have that panel that we need to go to.
Yeah.
Microphone.
Oh, I don't use mics.
Oh.
I just talk out loud. I'm a very loud person, even though I'm losing my voice. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll introduce ourselves real quick. My name is Erisaka. I am our founder and co-producer. I've also been doing this particular panel throughout the Midwest and East Coast since about 2014, if not slightly earlier. But throughout that time, I have become pretty familiar with the security and the security inner workings for conventions. So I've learned a couple of the ways that people wouldn't really know and like the things to say or do that will actually like benefit yourself, your friend group, and anybody else around you who may come into situations that are not the best. This is Decode. Down there is Cat Daddy. And very sleepily at the end is Noctua. Over here to my right is Mournful Bones, and then Not Your Wife. So basically, from this particular panel, the goal is to either educate you on some of the best ways to keep yourself safe, take any types of questions, and if there is need be and you aren't sure a situation may or may not have been on the up and up, just let us know. We can work with you. Last year, I ended up escorting 2 girls to security because one of them just started crying because she didn't realize that a situation was not what needed to be happening. So we were able to help with that and get the person who had made her very uncomfortable removed. So it is always good. I know it doesn't feel good a lot of the times to speak up because you're probably like me, like you just want to let things go. You don't want to rock the boat. You're just like, whatever, I'm going to pretend that didn't happen, move on with my life. Not always the best idea, and it's going to suck, it's going to hurt, you're going to feel embarrassed, you're not going to want to talk about it. That's okay. It's not supposed to feel good when you're doing the right thing sometimes. It's going to feel like shit. You're going to feel like shit. But that doesn't mean, sorry. I am a crier, and I get very sentimental, so it doesn't mean that your experience was not valid or important. I haven't taken my stabilizer yet.
That'll do it. I mean, I forget that exact thing all on Friday.
Friday, we actually had a situation ourselves.
Yeah, so I...
Yeah, 2 years in a fucking row.
Yeah, so I got followed into the men's room by a guy.
Staff.
Contracted security staff.
Not for the convention,
Not for the convention,
hotel.
for the hotel.
The hotel does their own extra security staffing to help around the convention time.
And keep in mind, I was wearing, not that, honestly, I hate even being like, well, I was wearing this, because at the end of the day, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter what I was wearing. Because I cannot use the women's room. So I went to the men's room. I was in full menswear. I was 5'8" in my platforms. I had my short hair. This guy is chasing me, going, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, and he literally corners me in the bathroom and it's like, this is the men's room. And then looks at me in the face and is like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, the implication of also him following someone that he assumed was a small femme AFAB person and then cornering them in the men's room is like, is that?
I just,
what
justice
do you
kicks
think
in
you're
and I
doing?
want to go find this dude and like shake him, like what is wrong with you?
And
why would you find this okay?
And so eventually staff was alerted, and then I wanted to, after the initial report, one of the staff that was helping us like reported it. And after the initial one, I was just like, I like don't want to deal with this. I just want to move on with my day. I'm pissed off, whatever. And I am glad that I went ahead and did it. They very gently were like, we would still really like you to report about this because this is important. And I did, and it turns out they were able to, maybe not directly find the guy, but they were able to like narrow down who it possibly was because of my description. They were like, oh, this sounds like the uniform of the contracted security guards. And then I was able to give them exactly what bathroom it was, where it was, blah, 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 blah. And they were like, okay, no, yeah, I'm gonna talk to the boss of the security team. And so, like, and I wasn't expecting anything to come of it. I think that part of the conversation happened when I was like, can you at least let the Sheraton staff know that this happened on their watch? Because, like,
if anybody was to get into trouble, it would be the multi-billion-dollar
company. And the thing is, like, I'm a 30-year-old man, whatever. There are countless, like, transgender, non-conforming, what have you, that are younger, that for whatever reason, you know, they're going to use the assigned restroom that they present as. And so you're not going to, it's just,
don't follow.
Are you going to go from chasing like a 14-year-old or like, oh my God, it's just, it was just skin crawling in every conceivable way. And unfortunately, that's really not, that is not a story like that.
Yeah, we've also experienced issues with them, not even at a convention setting, but in a public setting, of being chased into a bathroom.
So like this year I was being the Easter Bunny, and like, you know, you're in a suit, and I was at a mall, and I was with my boss, he's my handler, and I would walk through and go change, and as we were walking by, it was 3 men that like just started barking us and started following us, and my boss was like, no, you can't do that, and then we snuck back into the back room. And I was like,
it does not matter the setting, it does not matter what you're wearing. There are going to be people who have decided their goal for the day is they're going to make you uncomfortable.
It can happen while we're literally on stage, like it did Friday.
Oh yeah.
I'm still trying.
It happened to the both of us.
I'm still trying to process that. Last year, we had a stalker after our burlesque show. Like, straight us, followed us everywhere. We had our booth.
Continuously asking what our hotel
number
was,
where we lived in the country, which is why we are very vague about that answer now. We're just like, we're on the East Coast. Because after that, it's like, it's no one's business where we are in our day-to-day, because what if you come to our city looking for us? He tried to follow us into a bathroom. He stood behind me while I was in a Sailor Pluto cosplay. I bent over. He stepped right up behind me while I bent over. Just cheeks out. He's there. Mournful Bones had to like step in.
Yeah, like literal create a wall between the two of them.
He co-opted my time in Artist Alley, literally just had me standing in the middle of an intersection, just like not letting me leave the intersection, not letting other people talk to me. Anytime someone else wanted to take a photo of me, he was there. just like blocking them. Until you guys did the thing where it was like, oh, we have somewhere else to go, we have another panel to go to, and I was like, I've gotta go. Friday at the show, I was doing my Jessica Rabbit number, walked into the audience to have someone peel my glove off for me. I stuck my hand out and it was him.
Front row.
Front row.
Even after I had made multiple complaints last year, but granted, they were all taken very seriously.
Yeah, we had to go to the red shirts last year. We made a report, and this year when we realized he was in the front row again, he also tried to follow us into the green room last year.
Yes.
We immediately called them again, pointed him out, and they did remove him.
Yeah. The real unfortunate fact about that was when I was speaking to our other security handlers, they had said that when he came into the light, he was a known problem. And that is upsetting to me, especially that, first off, a known problem means more than at least 3 have been said by you. And I feel like at that point, someone needs to track you down and give you a very stern verbal warning. But at that point, so many things had happened because it wasn't just collective complaints about this particular person, it was complaints at this year alone that are what caused that to happen.
At this event this weekend.
At this event this weekend, yes. There had been
In the past.
Yes. 4 p.m. on the first
4
day.
p.m. on the first
What have
day.
you been doing?
I don't understand. Was he waiting for you or something?
Probably.
Yeah.
God.
Because many of
We
our
also
panels
went to another
have our
convention that we performed at.
Yeah,
we saw
many
him
of
at
our
that
panels
as well.
advertise us or have our names, and so with Noctua being tied to us, that is sort of our thought process.
Maybe he's
Is that
tracking you
following
down.
the name to find them specifically.
Maybe he's tracking you down by like a website or some sort. Like
Well,
when
yeah,
you
we do
see,
have
like,
social media and
Yeah.
stuff, and we'll
Yeah.
announce like, hey, we're gonna be at this convention. So most I mean,
'Cause
we
when-
have
when
that so
I'm-
you guys can follow us as fans.
Yeah, we
No,
all
yeah,
make
Yeah,
sure
like
it-
whenever I'm doing the social media stuff, I will announce the event, where it's taking place, and then throughout the period leading up to it, I do spotlights of who's going to be there. So in case that you are fond of one particular performer, or you do like one of our art specifically, you'll know that that person will be there.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with like being a fan of an individual and wanting to go support them and see them perform. It's another thing when you're harassing them, when you're constantly trying to take up their time and just like asking personal invasive questions and following, like that's, you're stepping over a boundary and that's not cool.
This is going to
Yeah.
sound like the most narcissistic thing I have ever said in my entire life, and I have said some
Is it?
dumb shit. I've said some dumb shit. Situations like where you're going to be. Sorry, stop it. Situations like where you're going to be, what your daily routine is what got a lot of celebrities killed. So personally, in my head, I'm thinking about a show that my parents played on reruns a lot. It was called like One Day at a Time. The young actress in that had a gentleman who would go to the studio that they would film at because that was just public information.
Oh my God.
There was nothing, the studio that she was at, the exact lot she was at, all of that stuff was complete easy knowledge, and the security to get in was just show up, hey, I'm here for X, drive right through. There was nothing fancy about that. Well, this particular person, kind of way before the internet, sent away for a list of addresses, for a catalog that was a list of addresses of celebrities in Beverly Hills. Got a hold of her address, started hand
heard the
delivering,
story of my
started
favorite murder.
hand delivering fan mail, kept trying to show up at the lot, and she did answer the door once for him, and be like, oh, this is uncomfortable, I didn't know you were gonna be at my house, how did you get my address?
Yeah.
The third time he showed up and she did not go to the front door, he left and came back one last time.
Yeah.
She opened the door and he shot her through a teddy bear.
What?
And she unfortunately did not make
I was
it.
also gonna say case in point, Yolanda.
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 That
Yolanda.
bitch.
She's on notice. She better fucking know, actually.
And also, another
Rest
one
in
that
peace,
comes to
Selena.
mind often for me is, not a lot of people know about this person. I can't remember his name, but he was somebody who was very fond of the artist Bjork.
Yes, I know
And
exactly who you're talking about.
he was so obsessive and would send fan letters and all that, and would get like really upset that she wouldn't respond. To eventually, he made a makeshift bomb that he tried to mail to her, and he has like a whole series of videos of him like recording himself, you know, going because he was not sane at all.
The scary part about that
He
was
was
that
hoping that her child was gonna open the door and find the package, and he was like, it'd be even better if her son or daughter.
it was her son.
Yeah.
Because the problem was, I think the really
Anyway,
scary
we're-
thing about that
We're
was
going
that
on a
we're
tangent.
going off topic.
We're going
that
on
was
a
the
tangent,
3-month
sorry.
period
That's
that they went from I like this person's music to
Yeah.
I hope terrible things
The
happen.
same thing happened with Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I went into.
There was
This has just become true crime.
Yeah.
with
Anyway.
with folks like overstepping boundaries, there was with us at least, there was also like that one person who that one girl who was like hovering around at the end of one of our shows, and then she kept coming up to me and like whatever, asked for my socials, whatever, fine. And then she asked for my name, and I was like, "Oh, Cat Daddy." She's like, "Oh no, like, is that your stage name or like your?" She wanted to know my legal name. And then when I was vague and didn't give that to her because I was like, I'm not really comfortable disclosing my legal name. Yeah, sorry about that.
She came to me then and was sending messages. So I thankfully was able to screenshot them just as proof, let him know, and the second it got back to her that he knew, all of a sudden every single one of those messages was like unsent.
Yeah.
Like completely
Yeah.
blank.
I had an ex who clearly doesn't understand what a breakup is, still follow him on social media so that she would know where I was.
Oh my god.
Because she knew that if a convention was coming up, we were likely going to be together. And so because I had blocked her on everything, she just kept following and looking at the social medias of my friends, trying to figure out where she could find me. Oh, and then there was in September when a different ex, after being blocked off all year on Facebook and all the socials, shows up to my burlesque show.
That's right.
Just my stage manager came into the bathroom and was like, is he supposed to be here? And I was like, no, he's been blocked since March. What the fuck? And they were like, well, he's out there. And it was it's a dive bar show. So the audience is really small. And I knew that he was counting on the fact that I wouldn't kick him out in a small setting because it would cause a scene. And at the time, I was in fact too terrified to kick him out because I thought, oh, all of our mutual friends will hate me if I humiliate him this way. And so I sat there and sung a song about being depressed. I had a whole show. I did another number about, you talk about narcissism, pretty people trauma.
Oh, yeah.
About pageant kid trauma. And there I am, like doing sad burlesque, and he's there the whole time. The friend he showed up with left during intermission. He stayed. If you supposedly came here with this person, when this person left, why did you not leave? The show ends. He's still there. We're all getting dressed and getting ready to leave the bar. He's still there, loitering about me, never actually interacting with me. I'm having a conversation and he's hovering behind me, responding from behind me, hoping that eventually I'll turn around and be like, hey. And when I finally did turn around and be like, hey, I turned around and was like, what the fuck do you want? And he pulled back, was like, I just wanted to support, and couldn't get anything out. And I was like, either you have something you want or you don't. And he didn't, and so I said, fucking leave. He paid his tab and he ran out. He had no reason to be there.
Especially because he has ins at like every bar in the neighborhood.
That's the other thing. It was like his neighborhood bar, and I'm like, I wouldn't give a fuck if it was the house next door to you. Why are you here?
So I would actually like to open the floor to any of you folks who might have some questions about situations, or anything that you might like to know to keep yourself safe, any methods. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yes.
So I have this. Well, he's not my friend anymore, but he's connected. Let's just say he sort of hacked one of my accounts or something, and he's still talking to me. And I tried ignoring him, but if he keeps messaging me, should I block him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
My number one thing with that is when it comes to anything social media related, block them.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's even on any type of cosplay media, you are going to get bullies. They are going to find the most insignificant problem with you, whether it be you don't use wigs, whether it be you have store-bought costumes. Consent is also like verbal interaction.
Yeah.
It's not just physical, it's not just the space around you, it's I do not want you to talk to me like this.
Exactly.
I do not have to stand here and take it.
It's
Online is going to be way easier than like being physically in front of somebody, because you might not have the ability to actually step away. And sometimes ignoring someone who's like berating you right in your ear can be very difficult. But when it comes to online anything, blocking them, do not give them the time of day. You will end up miserable and just on your phone like this, just like, I have to defend myself.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No.
Your defense is blocking, because there's no room for that.
Your page, your like social media, like that is your space, and you have every right to stand up for yourself and be like, you're not allowed here, you can't speak here. Like, I know people want to call it like free speech, but it's like, no, you can say whatever you want, but
You
not
can say
to
whatever you
me.
want to the
Away
government,
from me.
Yeah,
but not
exactly.
to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The block,
I can't put you in jail, but I can put my foot up
the
your
block
ass.
button is your best friend. We have blocked people for far less.
Yep.
So yeah, do never be afraid or ashamed or worried like, oh, are people not gonna like me because I blocked? Like, no, it's your piece. You deserve to have your piece.
You're probably not the first person blocking them either.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
If
blocked.
you have that feeling, you're probably not the first. So something I did want to touch on, if you are in a situation where you have a bit of room, and this really only works on like the con floor, not so much like the hotel floor, but if you're in a situation and either somebody has been following you and you're like, oh my god, I can't lose this person, like they're even waiting for me outside of bathrooms, if somebody is talking to you weird, scream, but like you are absolutely insane.
Yep.
Because not just a help,
Just shrink.
yeah, a help or a stop can actually be interpreted as playful. Security will say, literally scream like you're losing your mind.
A
Like,
blood-curdling scream, because
Or
what
run.
it'll do is stop, and
Yeah.
everyone will turn around.
or just start running,
Yeah.
because then they're gonna chase you down, and their first words are gonna be, "Why are you running?"
Yeah.
And then at that point you're like,
Someone's chasing
okay,
me.
this is what's happening. So you don't really have to go find security. Security will come and find you, and then a lot of people are like, okay, well that takes the stress of having to go talk to somebody about it. They're here and they're flat out asking, what's going on? Do I want to get reprehended by, or whatever that word is? Reprimanded by the convention, or should I be honest and be like, hey, I'm having a bad time and this is exactly why. This person will not leave me alone. They've said X, they've done Y, and conventions, especially this day and age, are gonna take that seriously.
Yes.
I would say, like, you don't even have to specifically seek out security on your own. You can, you know, talk to another con goer, or even somebody at like a panel, like if I'm assuming you're a safe person, our tech guy over here.
Yeah.
Anybody who has, you know, a con staff, any sort of staff, I'm sure would be more than happy to help you. No, go ahead, yeah.
One thing I wanted to touch on was that, and I was talking when I was out to dinner with my friends last night who have been out of the con scene for a while. I was actually talking about how one of the things that I have noticed over the last 10 years is that the seriousness of predators in the cosplay community has gotten more, with the advancement of social media, if someone is an issue,
Popularity of
if
anime in general.
it's there is a lot more eyes on problematic people, like actual predators in the community, and I have noticed a lot more whether
People take other people's stories seriously because now it's not just, oh,
that guy.
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, Tammy had an issue with this one dude. Yeah, I don't know. Now it's like, oh yeah, no, Tammy, Barb, Ashley,
Yeah.
Sarah, they all had a problem with this guy. Now everybody knows, everybody's on guard. If they see him do something weird, they're gonna call him out. They're gonna try to get somebody to remove him from the space.
That's how they found the fucking dude that we accidentally took a fucking picture with right before
Oh,
we did
yeah,
at
that's
Colossal
right.
at Prawn 2 years ago.
Yeah, so at Colossal Con Prime, we were
That
dressed up as
guy.
JoJo, we were dressed as Bruno and Abakio, and what was he dressed up as?
It doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And, but we took a picture with this guy, and then, later we found out there was a manhunt for him later that day, because he had assaulted several
He had
people.
assaulted someone in the
Straight up
villas
police
at the
man.
Kalahari.
Yeah, there was straight up a police
Yeah.
officer manhunt in the Kalahari. for
And we
this
were
man.
like, we literally just saw him, like, took photos with it.
like
Literally,
4 hours prior.
Literally,
What-
we're just chilling with
Those
him.
photos, oh Jesus, those photos are one of the reasons that they were able to find out what he looked like too. Because any of the ones from social media, somebody was like, oh, I know who that is. And then the cops were just collecting these pictures.
Yeah.
So that they were able to even have like security. They were doing circles for the whole situation.
The for what I was saying about the how people are have a lot more eyes on stuff. Like right before the con and the Anime Boston 21 Plus group, there was a call out post calling out a guy with problematic behavior, and in addition to that, there was like interactions with minors, whatever. But in addition to that, there was an individual that I had an issue with that was defending this guy in comments. And this individual, we had done a photo shoot years ago, and he just decided that because of that photo shoot, we were best friends, and because I am a mask person that is also queer, he felt, I guess, that boundaries didn't exist, and so he thought it was appropriate to start sending me very explicit pornography and trauma dumping his relationships in my DMs. I later found out I was not the only person he was doing this to, and so when I saw in the comments that he was defending this person, I was like, hey, FYI, this person that's defending him did this to me and at least one other person, and this person also would like stalk our panels and things like that. But it's good to know, but the point is that it was good to know, like, oh, okay, this guy that I've been having an issue with is actually a known problem as well. I'm not the only one that's having issues with it, blah, blah, blah. So that is something that I've noticed that the cosplay community within recent years has been taking a bit more seriously.
And that's why it's important to say something.
Yeah.
Because you're not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
And if everyone keeps thinking I'm the only one and I don't say something, then it just helps this person keep this a secret that they're going around being a fucking menace.
Yeah.
Say something, and likely that'll, if people haven't already come forward, that'll give everyone else the courage to come forward, because they'll be like, wait, this happened to me with this person as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then snowball effect, and that's how you end up on a manhunt at a con. But it's also like, it's not just a manhunt for that day, that hour, that weekend. It's like, this person clearly has a history.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you're going to be the catalyst that like helps them get caught.
Yeah.
Is there feedback here?
Have you all seen some sort of like policy or set of policies that you think are effective at being a little more proactive to prevent these things from happening in the first place?
I have seen a couple situations where there have been cons that have a zero tolerance policy. So, and it's not the type of thing where it's clearly someone's going, ew, that person's like being weird. Not like that. It's like if somebody comes up, and even if it's only one person, and they're like, hey, that person cornered me in a stairwell and would not let me leave. I feel very uncomfortable. I don't even want to go back up to my room. The con will take their badge. And a lot of times at that point, if it also happens like in the con space in the hotel, they'll be like, we're gonna go get hotel staff. And then they'll find out more things like that. They won't always call the police. They do often give the person the opportunity to decide, did you want to call the police or not? But that now is on the books for the hotel. They're not going to have the zero tolerance policy, but the con is. The con's like, all right, well, you're not coming back on our area whatsoever, so peace out. And depending on the situation, they have also blocked or banned that person for life from the con in the future. I know a situation like that happened at MagFest to myself a couple years ago. One of my very good friends' ex-husband purchased a ticket, got a hotel room at the very last second, just to come and follow us and stand around the booth. He would then go to other booths that had nothing to do with us, nothing to do with him, and would encourage people to stay away from our booth, was harassing other con attendees to don't go anywhere near them, don't give them your money, they don't need it. The weirdest things. This person also, my child was terrified of, because he came storming towards us when I was in line for an elevator. And I know he was going for the new boyfriend, but my 6-year-old was standing behind me. I grabbed new boyfriend, threw him behind me, and just like flared like, do it. Watch what happens. Just figure it out. But we took photos, we took the Facebook profile, we took every social media we could, and we gave it to the security at MagFest. And because of this person's outside convention history, Prince George County Police were called, and he was escorted out of the Omni and has a lifetime ban from MagFest, Super MagFest, MagFest Unplugged, anything tied to that, he is completely banned from. And it unfortunately took a very long time, but once they adopted that policy, almost everybody in security is like, we know who that is. We have never had the ability to actually kick him out. And they adopted that policy, everyone was like, yes, get rid of him. And you know who it is.
I know, oh yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yes, so I have a cosplay friend. We had a fallout. I've been a friend of this cosplayer for 6 years. So this is going to be a little bit off topic, but it's actually going to lead to it in some way. So I posted something on the story. So this person was saying, okay, I work 40 hours a day. So I work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I don't have time to cook, clean, sleep, go to the gym, etc. And then I said, work on your time management. This cosplay friend calls me an insensitive, and I'm going to quote, insensitive ass and a sexist. And she was saying about how she's going to tell me all over social media that I'm a sexist and I'm an insensitive ass, and then I'm I don't know what word it is. I'm asexual. I'm under the LGBT. Like, I would never, I would never put down anyone. I would just say, hey, I don't know everything about you, but I'll say, you know what? There's some things you need to work on. I didn't say the person is a bad person, So, and then I took a picture. I did a selfie at a train, at a commuter rail, with my mask down. So she DM'd me, and I thought she blocked me. Okay. So she said, well, I give you another reason to block you because you're not wearing a mask. And I blocked her. I was the first one to block her. And now she still goes to cons. I haven't followed her since. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what she's gonna do if she sees me. Is she going to do a smear campaign on me? And it's a totally unique thing and I'm a pharmacist. I have to make sure I protect my license. So if I do something bad or I get accused of something bad, I could lose my license. I could lose my career.
That leads into the libel and slander. And those are situations where it's really just a bullying situation,
Yeah.
where they are upset at whatever it is you've done that they feel is a perceived problem. Obviously, everybody's going to have different reactions to something. Everybody is going to have different thoughts about how things should be done. But if you have done nothing illegal and internet stalking is a form of harassment. It is a punishable form of stalking. Things like, if they see you and they ignore you, awesome. If they see you, you ignore them specifically. If they start making a scene, continue to ignore them. If they start like outwardly saying things on social media, at that point, you, especially if you have a paper trail of you have done nothing wrong and it's starting to affect you, like it would really affect you in your personal life, that's a situation where you would need a lawyer. You
No
would need
way.
to contact a lawyer and be like, this is all the information that I have, these are all my screenshots, these are everything, and this is what is happening in the situation. Do I have a case?
Especially if this person is claiming that you are a problem or a threat to them, but
Yeah.
all the interactions are them like
And being
initiating
antagonistic
the,
to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can't say to someone, or you can't say about someone, this person is a threat to me, or I think this person is going to bring harm,
And
and
seek
then
that
seek
person
them
out.
out,
Yeah.
and then go see their harm. No, you went to them, and then they're harming me.
Exactly.
That's not how that works.
Yeah.
And I felt as though, and as you said in the very beginning, you know, my reaction was, oh my goodness, I did something wrong. And you were right. I didn't do anything wrong. It was my opinion. I wasn't, just because
The difference, like, between a miscommunication and just
Blatantly.
Someone not
and
liking
being
that you
someone
critique
actually
them.
disrespectful and stuff like that. Like, there are misunderstandings out there, and some things can just be an honest mistake. But yeah.
And there are some situations where, and I have seen this, where security will be taking one person's side of the story, and then the other person has actually walked into security and been like, you're the problem, like, this is the person who I've been talking about. I have literally seen security be like, all right, come back here, we're talking this out.
Yeah.
We're talking this out. And it really was just a giant misunderstanding, and everybody was able to go their separate ways, calm, and with like a clearer head of the situation. But then there's also been situations where somebody walks into a room, a person is talking to security, and they freeze up. That, like, physical reactions like that, when you're out on the con floor, and let's say you're by yourself, you're walking to your panel, and you see somebody who you have had a problem with in the past, or has spoken to you in a certain way, and you freeze. Your fight or flight is neither of them. It is freeze in place and try to blend into the background. Well, at that point, there's everybody moving around you and you're still. That kind of situation I can 100% understand. You're shutting down, you're panicking. If you are a person who is aware of this for yourself, do not walk around by yourself.
Have a buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy system for your own safety. I know that I am a fight person, and I will call somebody out who has a very specific person who is a known predator. I will start yelling, this person is an R word. This person has done quite a few different things to a lot of people in this space. But I also know that I can't do that. I can't do that because I will actually get in trouble. And I'm saying that from personal experience. I yelled out that person A is a blank, ask the 3 women standing next to me. And they were okay with me yelling it, but I had staff walk up to me and say, like, you can't just say that. It's like, you're right, I can't just say that, but I can also show you police reports. And we had an incident at Katsu years and years and years ago, where a friend of mine's also cosplaying problematic person who they had a restraining order on, tried to file a separate restraining order while there. Yeah, because, yeah, it's DC. It's DC, they'll take that serious.
So I have an update. So I screenshot all of it and I shared it with I sent it to my therapist.
Yeah, because especially if your therapist can help walk you through the process, are you, do you think it is something that warrants a problem?
I knew how to do it. I blocked her. I saved the screenshot, so if something happens, if I get something from my friend or whatnot, that will come out. So, but I am being aware of for every con I go to.
I would say if it gets worse, I would file a police report.
Yes.
I wanted to touch on like money systems and how
Yes,
it's like
go
that.
ahead.
So one thing that I also wanted to touch on was for the masked folks and gentlemen in the room. Please don't underestimate how important your presence is to your femme presenting friends, because and also just your self-awareness in the convention space, because unfortunately, a cross we have to bear is that a majority of men are garbage. Unfortunately, that is just the reality of it, and it really is our.
Gosling, though. He's delightful.
Cosplay?
He's delightful.
Yeah.
Not Pedro Pascal.
Not Pedro
No.
Pascal. No. Okay.
But yeah,
Keanu Reeves would never do this.
take advantage of scary dog privilege.
Yes. Yeah.
And also know how it works. At cons, scary dog, I don't have scary dog privilege at con. This is my scary dog at cons.
It's so
I'm
stupid.
half a person taller than him, but this is my scary dog at cons, and that is because at cons I am typically in very, very femme, high glam cosplays, and so people don't take me seriously. I could sound as scary or have my resting bitch face.
It's ridiculous.
I can have my walking around in the hood mug on, but people are just like, pretty person.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that you're uncomfortable. I want to be near you. And I'm like, where's my scary dog?
Yeah, I'm literally like a tiny scary chihuahua for this one.
But it works in the opposite way when I'm home and walking around with my partner, because when I'm not in cosplay, I'm not in burlesque, I'm not in drag, this is how I dress, and I walk around looking very mean, and the combination works. Paired with my partner, who is very high femme all the time, I then become her scary dog. And so it's like figuring out like when it works for you, figuring out your comfort levels. Oftentimes when I'm dressed up, I'm wearing heels. I can't really defend myself that much anyway, and we're usually doing like couple cosplays.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like it works out in that way, but it's also about something I wanted to say earlier was being aware of your limits. Are you someone who is okay with screaming in the hallway? Are you someone who is okay with directly confronting someone? Do you prefer to have someone do that for you? Because then, especially if you're in a group, you can all have a system down. Who's going to be the people that contact security if something happens? Who are going to be sort of like the decoys? Who's likely to actually engage with the person if need be? It's really about knowing your friend group and knowing all the strengths and weaknesses and the limits. Well, not even weaknesses, but strengths and limits of everyone in the group.
Yeah. The other thing that I really quick wanted to touch on was that, and I touched on it earlier, but just, guys, our awareness to femme presenting folks, like a very innocuous example. It was like 11 o'clock when I came in on Friday night. I got into an elevator. There was a very femme presenting person who like dressed very cute, short skirt, all that. I literally stayed in my corner, didn't say anything, phone on the entire time. There's no way to there's no way to say this without just being blunt. No unnecessary compliments in situations like that. No unnecessary making conversations in situations like that. Like, they just want to get where they're going, and I assure you they don't want to have a conversation. And so in situations like that, and honestly, and one thing that I will do, just because I am conscious, is that I'll try to be aware of the surroundings in general. If another guy comes up, I will keep an eye on them. I will be aware of my surroundings. Something that happens fairly often with me, because I'm a goddamn space case, is I will be walking down a hall, walking down the street. If I catch myself walking too close to a femme presenting person, I'll dial it back. There's been, and the thing is, you can't be offended by it. There was an instance where I was walking down the street. I was wearing a jacket that had a bunch of leather straps hanging off of it, and I was walking a little too close to this girl. I think my straps had like brushed against her or something. She looks over her shoulder, gives me the nastiest glare, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what I did, but okay. I pulled back about 10 paces, and I was like, you have this whole sidewalk to yourself. And I really like to drive home that, like, it's okay to just shut your mouth and be fine with not getting talked to. And I just want all of the men to understand that. Yes?
I was actually just gonna, it's less of a question if we're just like asking for advice.
Mm-hmm.
I typically go to a lot of these alone, and like I dress like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's just it's just like how you deal with stuff like that as a guy, like just getting approached, like asked for a lot of pictures and whatnot. Sometimes like it feels a little awkward. I'm supposed to be like yeah, just like check me out, guys. So, like,
Right.
But
So
sometimes it's just like I'm not in the mood or like it's
It's perfectly fine to decline.
Yeah. I'm not I would swing that way kind of thing.
So-
It is perfectly fine to decline.
Yeah.
We've had to decline, like we'll do a group costume, and now, oh Jesus, now we need to run somewhere because we are grossly unorganized.
yeah.
But somebody would be like, oh, can I have, like, I'm so sorry, I actually have somewhere I need to be, especially if you do. If you're eating, a situation of like, I'm sorry, I actually really need to eat, this is like the first meal all day. And if you're not comfortable and you really don't want to take a picture that time, like you're overstimulated, you're just not feeling it, one of the best ways you can say like, oh, can I take your picture? It's like, I'm really sorry, I'm feeling not up
I
to
need a
it,
minute.
I apologize. If they're a reasonable human being, they'll be like, that's not a problem, have a good con, and walk away. If for any reason they press, put some bass in your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is just like, and I'll do this a lot of the time in my day to day is, first instinct if I'm going to be in I don't want to say like talk softer or approach softer, but like almost like what you said, to just be in like a con setting and stuff specifically is what I'm talking about, to not be like rude or like because you know it's very easy to be construed that way when you're masked. Is honestly just calm and polite. Just calm and polite. That's the best like mindset that I can suggest. Is just like, oh, I'm really not comfortable taking a picture right now. I hope you have a good con. Like that's something I'll always say, to just like, that's a really good conversation punctuation, by the way, is to be like, oh, I hope you enjoy your con. I hope you have a good con. Excellent way to get out of conversation.
And then just like,
Yep.
you become like a Scooby-Doo smoke outline.
Yeah.
And by the way, you don't have to give an excuse.
Right.
Like, if you feel that an excuse would be more polite and that they'll take that more gently, you can. But you can also just be like, no, sorry, I'm not doing photos.
Yeah.
And that is a very valid. You don't.
There
have to do
are
photos.
some people who, I cannot remember the name of the store, but if you are the type of cosplayer who is uncomfortable with people coming up to you,
Oh, they'll have the button pictures.
they make giant
No
buttons
photos.
that say no photos, please.
Yeah.
And
Those are
like,
excellent.
That's
It
because
doesn't have like
It's literally like
Lanyards,
the lanyards,
Yeah.
badges, yeah. There's
I know a
stuff
lot of
you
us
can
that
get
like put
online
those
for
on
that.
when they go to eat.
yeah, and I know
Like little do not disturb sign.
I know Val had one, because Val had been having problems at a specific convention because of the bottoms they were wearing, people were taking pictures of their butt. So they ended up clipping to the back of their bikini. This photo was taken without my consent. So if anybody took a picture and tried to show it to someone, they would know that they were a creep.
That's actually really amazing.
It's very funny.
That's
to
very
me.
effective.
Because people will take, I just reblogged it. Good God, Tumblr era language. I just shared it on Facebook right before we got here. It was like, yeah, I'm a cosplayer. I go to conventions and people take photos of me and I never see them.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are photos of us all over the internet that we'll never see.
Yeah. They're in the ether.
Whether we knew we were taking the photo or not. It's just, I have seen my ass on the internet accidentally entirely too many times.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And not even on the sites you would think.
And not even on the sites I would think. I'm just like,
I actually found somebody in a Colossal Con thread one year posted a video of me walking when I had extreme hungry butt.
Double cheeked up.
Yeah, it was a video from a distance, like from here to the door, and then a zoom in, and I was like,
Were you Mirko? What were you dressed as?
I was Mirko. But I was really Mirko, so I was in the giant stiletto boots.
Love.
Yeah, and that was the situation of, I found some humor in it, but I also found like
It's a little ick.
yeah,
A little bit of an
like
ick.
that's definitely, and I had this problem yesterday when we were outside, but somebody literally in their car whipped out a camcorder and slow panned with myself and Dani Sonata walking across the street.
The rompers.
Yes. And that was a situation where I was like, I don't have to be polite to you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Last night when Dani
yeah.
and I were like trying to go on a booze run and stuff like that, and I was in my Jolteon romper, and yeah, there were like lots of people hollering from their cars and stuff, but we're just like,
God damn it, that's literally why
I
was
either
just
like just don't even look at them because half of the time they want you to look at them and get your attention, so I'm just like, I don't even react, or Dani's just like, hey, like F off and stuff like that.
But like touching on the camcorder thing, if you notice somebody trying to like take a stealth picture of you, call them out.
Yeah, you don't have to
Yeah.
deal with
Just
that.
or just start yelling, be like, I don't consent to this, or why are you taking a picture of me? Because then your face is all weird and they're not gonna keep that picture.
flip them
It's
off.
like, if you want a picture, you can even be like aggressive kindness about it and be like, oh, if you want a picture, you can ask.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and some people might be like, oh, that tone is weird, but it's like,
I usually say photos are $10.
if they're taking
Yeah, if they're taking it without my permission, I'm just like, photos are $10, and it's like,
specifically without permission.
oh.
I think I've seen that happen once.
You gotta be like the Times Square Elmo.
I mean, the amount of times again, seen my ass in places I would not expect to see my ass, but I definitely expect to see myself on like those like things you see on the train, like
Creatures of New York or whatever.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
100% am a person of Walmart. Like in my daily life,
It's your natural state of being.
you know what I'm wearing right now and what I'm not wearing right now. That's my everyday because I can't be asked to do any of it.
I mean, with my goddamn coat, I'm like, everyone in my neighborhood knows. It's to the point where Dunkin' Donuts has my order ready by the time I get in the door, because they're like, the blonde one with the coat. Make the big green drink.
Are there any more questions anybody would like to ask? Yes, again. Oh, it's all good.
Is there anything else that guys, because I'm like trained martial arts like 10 years ago, is there anything else that guys can do to like be of service, I guess?
So,
Be of
Be of service.
actually,
Thank you for your
so
service.
let's kiki. So, no, because I no, absolutely. So,
Your physical silence helps.
yeah, like you would legit,
Yeah.
you would honestly be surprised. Like, just being in the orbit of one of your friends that needs a buffer. Again, I'm 5'4". How tall is this one in heels?
In heels, I'm like 6'1".
And people literally stay away from them because they're like, oh, man.
Yeah.
It's people are monkey brain. It's
And I was gonna say, there's also, if you are with a smaller friend, regardless if they are femme or mass presenting, if you can see their body language that they're uncomfortable, go ahead and verbally step in, be like, hey, that's enough, we have somewhere to be. Whether you're dating that person or not, They don't need to know whether you are. All they know is that you're now the aggressive one, and they are being challenged.
And also,
because predators are gonna find the weak one of your group, and they're gonna wait, and they're gonna either do something absolutely terrible, or they're going to make them they're either going to verbally do something terrible or try to physically do something terrible. And it doesn't matter what their intention is. If you have the ability to be like, that's enough, do it. Even if it's something like, you pull out your phone and be like, oh, hey, they need to talk to you, it's really important. I have a friend who, at this particular con, had to do that because there was a photographer who would not leave them alone and kept walking up. Speaking of which, photographers, you have a right to say no to a photographer if you are doing a private shoot and they are asking things of you that make you very, very uncomfortable.
just a little.
It's
Even
also,
just a little. And always take a friend to your shoot.
and if they say, oh, no, like,
No
second
friends,
people,
red
don't.
flag.
No, friend,
Red flag.
I don't work with friends. This is a two
It
thing.
ruins the mood. No. You always have a buddy. Buddy system
Always
is
have
a
a
buddy
buddy.
rule.
There is
How
no
could
mood,
friends
it's
possibly ruin the mood?
Mood is professional, I thought.
Yeah.
The mood is friendship forever.
The other thing I wanted to touch on as far as like what to look out for as like a masked person is be aware of, I would encourage you guys to be more aware of your friends, I don't know if social cues is the right word, but just, it goes back to just spatial awareness. Like, if you're with a friend and you're kind of like whatever spaced out, but you notice like, oh, my one friend's been talking to this person for a while, they kind of seem like they're, it seems like they're kind of like talking in circles, I should probably like, oh, I mean,
Have a little fun with it, make code words.
like,
Or even like glitchy eye contact from across the, like he
Yeah.
often knows when I'm uncomfortable and just
Yeah.
Like,
because it's like I know we both
Yeah.
know that if it really came down to it and it was time to fight, between the two of us
Yeah.
will be better able to hold my own. Like if I
Yeah.
actually had to fight someone, I will absolutely fucking throw down. Like there's like nothing. But if I'm in a cosplay and I'm in heels, I'm in a fucking corset, and I'm just like, it's not that time yet. It's not time to throw down, but I am starting to go nonverbal.
and I'm just like, let's go.
Yeah, it's like I'll start this and start dissociating mid-conversation, and then he.
Dial up tones.
But it's very funny to me that I have been in situations like that, which I am a very loud and ostentatious person, but I'm also like kind of mean if I like you, but if I've never met you, you can trap me in a 45-minute conversation because I'm too nice and I'm gonna let you keep talking.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
that's
I've had many of them physically pull me away, be like, hey, we need to go, and be like, okay, bye, good to talk to you.
Because
The
I'm
fake
just
smile.
the one that like sits in the back and
Yeah.
just, like watches everyone's body language.
And
So
I'm
it's just, like,
standing
just,
out
like,
front smiling like,
I'm normally the one that like is watching everyone because like I'm not the talkative person. So like I just sit in the back and like if I see a body language that I'm familiar with and it's their uncomfortableness, I instantly go or I get someone that's close to them like, hey, grab Noctua, hey, grab Jay.
Yeah.
Because like Jay has had a situation too as a mask presenting person.
Yes.
That I was like, oh, the person that just harassed you is coming, you need to go this way.
Yeah. And again, it all comes down to, obviously you don't want to have like 100% energy right out the gate, like, oh my god, this guy is being creepy, we need to go right now, like, get him! Get down, Mr. President! But it's really just, it also goes back to that like calm and polite mindset as well, keeping that in mind, because obviously you don't want to start a scene, but again,
Until you do.
until you need to start a scene. Until you need to start a scene. But ultimately, just I think that
Diligence.
guys, we should be a lot more aware of the privilege that we have as scary dogs for our friends that don't have that privilege, and we need to be more respectful than this.
in closing, our bullet points, buddy system. If you're in a situation, scream, yell, make the scene when the scene is necessary. Go ahead and make sure your friends know your social cues. So if you are, for some reason, stranded away from them, they know, hey, it's time to come and grab you. If a situation happens to you and you are not fully comfortable talking about it, still try to bring it up to your friends, because you might not think that it was a big deal, but if you tell it to someone and you're like, haha, laughing through the dark humor of it all, and your friend just has a look like, please go and do something, because you could also be helping the next guy that same situation could be. Yeah, you don't have to do anything alone. Have your friends with you. You love each other because you're friends. Friends don't let friends be sad or scared. Yeah. Sailor Moon says, love your friends, protect each other.
Yes,
Love your
Sailor
friends, protect each
Moon.
other. We've been Scarlett Mafia, and we love you very much. Thank you for being here.
Happy Easter, y'all.
Happy Easter.
He has risen.
Prison for the whores again. Jesus has returned for poor people like sluts.
Pissed.
Jesus said there's not enough sluts here.
You guys are so
Girl.
funny.
Hey, my ugly.